Welcome to another live week of trading. This is for February 2023. Let's see if we can make some money to make up for the new PC I just built. Just a heads up, I don't know why, but I was having issues with my camera on OBS. Something seems wrong with the frame rate. There's like this motion blur now, and it kept shutting off here and there. Not sure what the issue is, so if someone out there knows, please advise me. But let's get into the trading. This is Monday. We are in the middle of earnings season now. Didn't do much to start the week. Focused on the GoEV. This was actually a secondary offering, which I don't normally trade, but sometimes they do make a decent move, so was trying to scalp it here and there. Made some long on it initially, then later on it flipped on me and lost about an R on it as a short, which was unfortunate because I couldn't get out in time. E-Trade is a pretty slow platform, but was able to make it back as a re-short when it topped out for the morning. But not much else happened. Choppy day for me overall, but ended the day up with a small profit. Tuesday, my first trade was the DD. Gapped up on earnings, breaking out on the daily, had a nice pop at the open, pulled back on the 1 minute, then rallied back up and based at the highs and got in it as it broke out. It had a decent start, it was up almost an R, but the spread was a bit of an issue, so it was hard to trail anything as it looked like it wanted to pull in with the market, so I had no choice but to let it play out. So while that was going on, I also got involved in the GoEV short. This was the secondary from yesterday, and it was on my carryover list. I shorted it as it rolled over on the hourly for a quick scalp to the downside. Then back to the double D, which was rolling over as well, unfortunately, and couldn't do much but trail it under the 5 minute and actually ended up taking a small loss on it. This was actually up almost an R at one point. Then got back into the GoEV because it looked lower again, but this time missed my exit, so didn't make as much as it should. Not happy with how I've been missing the exits, but it happens on the slow movers. It's hard to watch them like a hawk, especially when there's other things going on. But kept my eye on it throughout the day since this seemed to be doing okay for me and shorted it here and there as it set up. Just quick in and out scalps of what I could get filled since it was on an uptick. Was hoping it could break $1 today because it would have been a pretty nice day for me if it did, but was able to gradually build up a decent profit for the day. Then the next morning, Wednesday, I kept my eye on the GoEV to see maybe today will be the day that it'll break $1 since it's set up a 1, 2, 3 on the daily now, clearing a lot of support, but popped instead for a quick scalp and had a nasty flip, so only was able to make half an R on it. Then I shorted the LUMN. This was one of the bigger gappers this morning. I don't think this was earnings. I think it was gapping down on news, I believe, but it was gapping to a void and coming from a bit of a sell-off already, so wasn't too surprised it got bought at the open. So now looked like it wanted to roll over off the highs on the intraday. These tend not to be the best shorts because of the relative strength it had this morning, but it was stuck at the whole number. It had a tight base, so I gave it a shot. It was very difficult to get filled on, got what I could, and tried to add on the way down since I was undersized. And I was able to accumulate a decent size on it. Definitely kept me on my toes because I was afraid it was going to pop against me, which I've seen it do already today. And this was also a slow mover, so pretty much was glued to the screen and actually ended up following through a bit, but unfortunately got shaken out. I prematurely got out because it looked like it was going to flip. I saw the volume kick in and I saw the tape getting bought, but it ended up going, I think, another 10 cents or so. Oof, that sucked. But I did what I had to, especially since the exits I've been missing on the GoEV. I did try to get back in, but most of the shares I was able to get filled came in at the end of the move, so couldn't make much more on it. Then went back to the GoEV for a quick scalp move to the upside and called it a day. Thursday, I went after the CS at the open. It reported earnings, gapped down, breaking the recent rally. Now, I don't really go after ADRs, which this one is, but I do have a history with CS, traded it multiple times in the past, and this tends to move on the days it has the decent gaps. I shorted it as a 1, 2, 3 setup on the 1 minute and didn't really work, but I kept my eye on it to see if it was a shakeout, and it definitely set up again like it was. So I re-shorted it off the 2 minute now and was able to catch the move lower. Then got involved in, you guessed it, the GoEV again. I was sure this was going to break $1 one of these days, so just keeping an eye because it was only available on E-Trade for me, and you can't short once it's under $1. So just trying to keep an eye on it to scalp it. Then got back into the CS off the breakdown on the 15 minute under the low of the day. Notice how I tend to stick to the symbols that are working for me. And of course, what do you know? I was watching this not just now, but all fucking week, and I ended up missing it. The GoEV broke the dollar mark. That was an easy 4 or 5 cents I could have made. Damn. Then nothing really came up for me for the rest of the day. CS stopped moving, so just took it easy. Then Friday, I actually only had the first hour and a half to trade because I had to catch an early flight to New York for the weekend. So my first trade was this MGA. This was actually gapping into the 200 in the pre-market, so I wasn't watching it too closely, but noticed it cleared that area at the open. I got to it a little too late, so I missed the initial entry on the 1 to 3 off the 2 minute, so I was figuring out a way to get in it. So I watched the 5 minute to see if it'll set up a 1 2 3, which it did, so I took that entry. Not really thrilled with it since it was $1 off the original entry I wanted, but liked the gap enough to give it a shot here. I did like the start of the continuation move, but it popped right back up, which is not a good sign. The spread opened up, and then it actually came back in. So this thing is just bouncing up and down like a trampoline, which I wasn't feeling too confident in anymore. So whenever I'm not too sure what to do, I like to reduce my position to half. So that's what I did when it got back down to my break-even point, just to protect myself. Because I only have the morning to trade, so any losses I take, I don't have the opportunity for a chance to recover, so reduced my position. While that was going on, I came across the APPH, which was a secondary offering, and was actually setting up as a short, but this is one of the few instances where I'm okay fading the move. Most of the time, these secondaries don't go anywhere, but there are times they get bought a decent amount. So I actually scalped it as a long as it broke out over that base, as I noticed the 20 MA on the smaller time frame starting to curl up under the candles and looked higher for a quick pop. Then I don't know why my camera shut off again on OBS. But back to the MGA, I was looking at $55 as target, but we did get a decent sell-off into some support this morning. I'm running out of time. I have a plane to catch, so I trailed it off the 5 for a tiny profit and called it a week. So there you have it, up just under 9K for the week. To be honest, I really didn't want to leave early for New York because I knew there was more money to be made, but it can't be all work and no play, right? So this being a week trading video, why not throw in the weekend too? So we arrived at the airport. We actually have a private gate we go through now, which is cool. It's basically like a private terminal. You just pull in, valet the car, and get to hang out in a private suite while you wait to board. It has its own bathroom, TV, there's snacks. This one has its own outdoor patio. We got here a bit early to enjoy the complimentary food and drinks they give you. We pretty much ordered the entire menu, popped some bottles at 9 in the morning. Why not? This trip is actually to celebrate my wife and cousin's birthday. Then just relax till they come tell us they're ready to board. You can take all the snacks or accessories you want, all on the house. Well, not really, because it's probably factored into the membership cost, but you go through your own private TSA. Then the cool part is you hop in a car and they drive you through the airstrip and drop you off to your plane. So we entered through the back door, cut everybody like assholes, then just enjoy the flight. Not as convenient as having your own private jet, but one step at a time. Probably should have passed on the airplane food since we're about to enjoy all the awesome New York food, but it's a 6-hour flight, so I went for it. After we landed, for the first night we ate at Cote, which is a Korean barbecue restaurant. I know, we flew all the way from LA to just eat Korean barbecue, but this I think is the first Michelin star Korean barbecue, so I had to give it a shot. And I will say, I was impressed. They have some of the highest quality of meats. The panchan was good, the kimchi jjigae was amazing, but I will say their paella, which is their kimchi bokkeumbap, was the one thing I was like, I've had much better, but overall, would definitely go back. Then the next day, Saturday, we had breakfast at the hotel, we stayed at the Peninsula, then drove out to Soho for some shopping. I ended up buying a new bum bag from Louis V, then went over to Prince Street to get a slice of pizza. We actually have one in LA now, so tested it, but realized they taste the same. Maybe it's just me. Then for lunch, we went to Oli Piu. Not sure if I'm saying it right, but good pastas. But their spaghetti chitara is the one I'm coming back for. That was one of the best pasta dishes I've ever had. Then my wife and cousins went shopping again. I went back to the room because I had to get some work done. Then dinner, we ate at Sushi Yasuda. They're known for the burgers. Just kidding. Sushi, obviously. I thought their nigiri was amazing. Not so much of the other stuff, but drank a ton of sake. After that, we stopped by the Grand Central Station because the wife really wanted to. Walked around Times Square, grabbed a pie at Joe's Pizza, and called it a night. Sunday morning before our flight back home, I stopped by the Financial District to check out the famous Charging Bull. Took some pictures, of course had to check out the New York Stock Exchange as well. Would love to go inside and tour the place one day, but maybe next time. Off to the airport, flew back to LA, went to my parents' house to pick up Tyson, just in time for the Super Bowl kickoff. My brother prepped the taco party for us, and my mom actually made her paella, which I haven't had in like 10 years. How crazy is that? This is the better one I was thinking about, by the way. Then we just relaxed, watched the Super Bowl to end the weekend. Time to get back to work on Monday. Peace.